Hello, we're back. Final Whistle Sports. I'm here with Jerry. I am Josh, and today we're going to be doing our first mock draft here on the channel. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be alternating. We're going to be screen sharing the PFF mock draft simulator. So let's get into it.
All right. Well, I think I'll start off with the first pick. And honestly, for the Titans, I don't see them taking a QB with the QBs that are available. I just think Abdul Carter is a much better prospect than either of them. So I'm personally going to have him go with Abdul Carter. I don't think the stress reaction is really a big deal, and I think he'll still perform at the pro day. So I think this could change maybe if he has a terrible showing at the pro day, but I've got Abdul Carter here.
Okay. Wow. I think that's an interesting pick, especially with the Titans signing Kevin Zeitler, however you say it, from the Lions. I feel like they're kind of pointing towards a QB, but yeah, for sure. With the second overall pick, I'm going to be taking Cam Ward, the quarterback. I think if Cam Ward falls to the Browns in this scenario, then I think they'll definitely take him.
All right, I like that pick. But I think with the Giants, I had originally. Oh shit, I forgot.
You're good. You're good. You got to go quarterback. They're both pretty low
I
down.
know, yeah.
You just sort.
Initially, I had Travis Hunter going to the Giants in a situation like this. They did sign Paulson Adebo, which I thought was a great signing for them. He's a very solid corner that can shore up their secondary, which is pretty shaky. But I think honestly, I might still go Travis Hunter here. I mean, I could see them taking a QB, but I just don't think it's worth it with the type of prospect that people have Travis Hunter being. I see him projecting in the NFL as more as a corner. I don't know if he will play two ways, but I think I'll go with Travis Hunter either way.
I like that pick. So, fourth overall pick. This one gets a little bit dicey. Um, there's T Mac, there's Mason Graham, there is Will Campbell, Membu. You could go with one of the offensive linemen. This one's tough for me.
No, I was a sure Will Campbell guy before, but the arm length is an issue.
Yeah. I mean, you could go T Mac here, especially with T Higgins being off the market. And this wide receiver free agent class is just incredibly old. I think I am going to go with Will Campbell. I think Will Campbell
Really,
is a great prospect. I think Will Campbell's going to produce in the NFL day one, especially if he's on the interior offensive line. This transition for sure is kind of oversold in terms of success, but I do think that for Will Campbell, make sure you select him. I think Will Campbell will have success day one. Oh,
what are we doing?
now Mason Graham. All right, there we go.
Honestly, I like that pick. I think people do play up the arm length importance in the league. I don't know how much teams really value that, but I do really like Will Campbell as a prospect, and I think he was the best tackle in the country this past year. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think this Jags pick is a pretty easy one. They say that they need receiver, but it's not like you're going to take a receiver in the top five unless it's T Mac. And I just don't see them needing T Mac. Honestly, I'm just going to go with Mason Graham. I don't really have much of an explanation for it, but I think
Yeah,
Mason Graham's the best
he's
available player
great.
here.
Yeah, right here for the Raiders, I have them taking their franchise player of the future, especially with the Geno Smith trade. There's no chance that they're taking Shadur here. We're going Ashton Genty. Yeah,
I mean,
just a
you could say
franchise
they're
guy.
doing a little. You could say they're doing a little development project with having Geno start for a couple of years and maybe have Shadur develop under him. You don't like that possibility?
I don't think so. I think this is the guy, and I
Mm.
think the Raiders like situation offensively. If they take Ashton Genty, it's really like I think Jacoby Myers is incredibly underrated. You have Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers with Ashton Genty. I think that's a team that you shore up more holes on the team because they were pretty bad last year. But with Gino, I think that's a team that can contend to make a playoff spot.
Okay, I like that. Next up, we've got the New Jersey Jets,
New York
and this
Jets.
they operate out of New Jersey, and so this is one. This is a common spot where you'll see Shadur taken. But now with Justin Fields being signed to the Jets, I think that's completely out of the window. They signed him to a pretty big 2 year, 20 mil per year deal. And so I think they are going to build around um, build around Justin Fields. I wouldn't be surprised if they went receiver here and took T Mac or went like a Mimbu type pick to kind of keep Fields protected. And honestly, I think that's where I'm going to go. I think Mimbu shot up his draft stock a lot
Hmm.
with the combine, and I think he's the number one tackle slash guard, whatever you want to put him at this spot. So I'm going to take Mimbu here.
Wow, looks like Shador is going to be the far of the draft because we're gonna go a long way. I guess
I
maybe
know.
Saints maybe. But yeah, the Panthers. So last year the Panthers lost Frankie Louvu to the Washington Commanders, and he was great once again. He had that funny moment in the NFC Championship game where he was jumping over the line against your Eagles. But yeah, I think they could possibly take a well, I almost spoiled it. They could possibly take a Frankie Louvu replacement here. I've got Jalen Walker out of Georgia, the linebacker. I think he's incredibly versatile. He's a leader. He's a great locker room guy, and I think he can be the face of that defense going forward for the future.
Honestly, I've been a somewhat of a Jalen Walker doubter from this point. I'm not a huge fan of his size, even though he's very versatile. But I
It's a
think
linebacker, bro.
he could play edge though. That I've seen a lot of
That's
people
what I'm
trying to.
saying. He's both. He's both.
I know, but I have my doubts about him. But I think that's a good pick. Now with the Saints, like you were saying, this is a potential spot where we could see Shadur go. I'm personally not going to take him here. I think they need to shore up that D line a little bit more, maybe get some pass rush there. I think I would go with a guy like Shamar or Michael Williams here. And I think with the combine performance that he put on, I'd like to take Shamar Stewart here.
Okay. Athletic freak.
Yep.
Okay, so with the Bears, Ashton Genty is off the board. You know, the Bears have been the winners of free agency so far. Even though even moves like Grady Jarrett, even though Grady Jarrett was more average last year, we know Grady Jarrett has like potential to be an all pro level player again, even though he's getting older. They just fleeced the Chiefs. That was terrible. Fourth round pick for
It's
Joe Tooney.
disgusting.
Signed Jonah Jackson. And even though Jonah Jackson's like an average player, these are upgrades on the offensive line. Their interior offensive line situation is mostly sorted. Darnell Wright has been solid at right tackle. And I think they could take one of the most surefire tackles in terms of arm length and frame and all that. He's got all that. Maybe Membu can compete with him, but I'm going to take Kelvin Banks out of Texas to shore up that left tackle spot.
I like that pick. That's probably what I would have taken as well. Now with the Niners, they're in a little bit of a rough spot. They've had a
Very
couple of key
rough.
losses this free agency. I don't see them really, even no matter what they pick here, I don't see them really making any waves next season as far as a playoff push. But I think just take the easy choice here. I think it's smart to go with a position of need and just take Jahdae Barron. I mean, he's very versatile in the secondary. He can play corner outside. He can play nickel. He can play safety. He's even though he went to Texas and I'm an A&M fan. He's one of my favorite players in the draft, and I really like the way he plays. So I'm gonna go with Jahdae Barron here.
Okay. So Dallas, you can never predict what Jerry's gonna do. I think with Jerry's mind, I think this could possibly be a Mike Green spot. I think this could possibly be a Tyler Booker spot. I think this could possibly be a Tedero McMillan spot. I am of the opinion that while the Cowboys do need more weapons offensively, especially with the departure of Rico Dowdle now, I just think that their need for weapons is a little bit overblown in a sense. They still do have one of the best receivers in football. So, me personally, I am going to shore up their interior offensive line. They did take a more of a raw prospect in Tyler Guyton. Tyler Booker is not that. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with Tyler Booker, who's one of the most polished offensive line prospects in this draft. And yeah, Zach Martin just retired, so I'm sure they're going to be hoping that Tyler Booker can be their guy for the future.
Okay, and that could be a pick that could come back to bite them. I'm not saying he's not necessarily a boomer bust prospect, but that's someone that you could argue is a reach at that spot. And I think if that doesn't pan out for them, that could signal the end of Jerry's
Yeah,
reign or something. Hopefully,
I
if the
think I
Cowboys
think
finish
it could be a reach. Oh,
Mhm.
I think it could be a reach possibly, but I mean he's polished, and the only way I see him like not succeeding if it's like a heavy run scheme which the Cowboys literally just don't have the luxury to do, especially with
Mhm.
Dak being back and just a complete lack of running backs. I think Tyler Book could be a good fit there.
Okay. Next up, we've got the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I like taking a DB here. Their secondary is just not great, straight up. And you could argue going for a line here, but there's not really a guy at this spot that I like um, going to the Dolphins personally. With Will Campbell and Mumbu off the board, and Kelvin Banks, those are my top three guys. You could argue for a Josh Simmons, but I just see him as more of a later first round type of guy. I usually mock him somewhere towards the Bills area, and so I think the most ideal pick here would be a safety, either your choice of Malachi Starks or Nick Emanwori. And as much as I do like Emanwori, obviously he's incredibly athletic. Malachi Starks is just a more refined prospect for me. Emanwori has his flaws, especially in the run game, and I just think Malachi Starks has put more quality on tape than Emanwori throughout the entire season. So I'm gonna go with Malachi Starks here.
Yeah, I think with them just losing Javon Holland, that's a big loss. But I feel like Malachi starts like he got more of a bad rap this year, but he was literally being asked to do everything for that Georgia defense, which I think is also a positive attribute because corners also need for them. So I like that pick. Um, this is one of the most obvious picks of the draft for most people. Give Anthony Richardson more of a safety blanket, which is the tight end Tyler Warren. It's a prospect that I love. Watching him run the ball, watching him block, watching him catch the ball. Just a fantastic player. Anthony Richardson had one of the highest ADOTs, average depth of target in the league, the highest, I'm pretty sure. And that's a good attribute for most quarterbacks. But for Anthony Richardson, it's something that he could maybe rein in a little bit. So I
Chucking
think,
deep balls every play
yeah,
around.
just chucking the ball. So I think Tyler Warren could be a good way to calm that down just a little bit.
Yep. And you see T Mac still on the board. This is
T Mac
crazy.
is
It's
still
a
on the
huge
board.
slide. And I think he's gonna slide down even further because I just don't think that wide receiver is the biggest
Need in this
need
next range of
for
picks for
yeah.
sure. I think he
Especially for
could
the
have,
Falcons. Sorry, what were you
yeah,
saying?
he could have gone to the Cowboys, but I mean,
Mhm.
yeah,
And I think for the Falcons, they've got a pretty nice offensive core there. Uh, T Mac has drawn a lot of Drake London comparisons, and I don't think you really want two Drake Londons in the same
yeah,
offense.
redundant.
So I think I'll go with a linebacker pick here. They could really shore up their run defense, and I like Jahad Campbell. I mean, he put on an amazing combine performance in the drills. He ran I think a low 4.5 in the 40. He looked athletic and he looked great in the drills when a lot of other linebackers didn't. So he's probably my favorite off-ball linebacker in this draft, and I'll have him to the Falcons.
Okay, I love that pick. I have that in my own personal mock draft as well, so I definitely agree with that. Um, yeah, so I think this is my Will Johnson spot. Um, yeah, I think this is my Will
Okay.
Johnson spot. Their defense is very suspect. So I think that's something that could use a lot of help. And although Will Johnson just isn't testing at all, which is a big risk, and sometimes on tape he looks a little bit shaky this year, but he still has great instincts. That pick against USC, the pick six, I mean, you can just see it. The guy, he knows what he's doing. So, I feel like the concerns about his speed down the line or his athleticism are a little bit overblown. I think more of his problems are like tackling and stuff, run support, which are things that he can work on. Those are more effort things, but game instincts, he's got it.
I like that pick, and I like that you ended up taking him because I want another Michigan guy going to the Bengals. I really like Kenneth Grant in this spot, especially because the Bengals decided to throw the house at Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which I can't say I blame them for it, but with their defensive needs, it's definitely a questionable decision. And even though they did kind of go out and re-sign some of their defensive guys, I don't know if you really want to bring back anyone from that defense last year because it was just
Other than
atrocious.
Trey.
Yeah, and that's seeming like the only person that they're actually going to let walk or request a
Yeah,
trade.
but he's probably gonna stay because people don't want to pay him because he's so old.
Yeah. And honestly, I just think, defense was their only problem last year. They had damn near perfect offense. So I think Kenneth Grant is a great pick here. He's just a big guy. He can get it done up the middle.
Okay, so this Seahawks team, they've completely rebooted everything. You've got Sam Darnold, who's new to the team, Cooper Kupp, who's new to the team. They let go of Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Geno Smith. This team's biggest problem last year, as you can see right there, center and guard, interior offensive line for the Seahawks. Every time I watch them, Gino has no time to throw. They're getting blown up through the middle. It's terrible. They do have some positives on the outside, but interior offensive line. I'm actually going to go with the guy who's categorized as a tackle. But yeah, that's their biggest need. Gray Zabel is really just guaranteed to be a guard, but he looked amazing at the Senior Bowl as a guard. He was playing there, and he was dominating. So I'm going to go with Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State.
I like that pick. I've seen him in the first round. I've seen it be a little inconsistent with his first round appearances in a couple mock drafts, but I really do
Yeah,
like Gray Zabel as a talent. He comes from that North Dakota State team that can produce some steals like they produced Cody Malk a couple years ago,
yeah.
or was that last year? But I really like what they've got going on down there with their O line development. And so next up, we've got the Bucks. The Bucks have not really made any large moves in free agency outside of Hassan Reddick,
Mm-hmm.
and argue whether or not that's really a huge pickup anymore. He's kind of a little bit out of his
25.
prime and had some of that drama last year with the Jets. But this is just definitely a defensive pick here. This is a team that needs to shore up their defense. I think that honestly, you just go with a simple pick and take the best defensive guy on the board here, and for me, that's James Pierce Jr.
Interesting, yeah. Some people have been down on him a little bit because of the attitude problems. But yeah, they just said, from what I've read, it was like people in Tennessee staff were enabling him, and it was causing him to be worse, just letting him do whatever he wants. So hopefully that can get fixed up at the next level because, we love to see players succeed over here. But yeah, this right here is a wide receiver for me for sure. The Dolphins have had a great free agency so far. Dre Greenlaw. Um, I'm forgetting the other names for some reason. Dre
You're saying for the
Greenlaw.
Broncos free
Talanoa
agency?
Hufanga. Sorry. What else did you say?
Oh, you're saying for the Broncos free agency?
Yeah, for the Broncos free agency. Talanoa
Mm.
Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw. They stole two great players on the defensive end from the 49ers. And I think this team, with an offensive weapon for Bo Nix, it could really help them a lot and make them even better than they were last year with a team that made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback that was heavily doubted. So yeah, we're looking at T Mac, Luther Burden, Colson Loveland, Matthew Golden, Emeka Buka. I think you go best offensive player available here. You go Tedero McMillan.
Took a while, but he's finally off the board.
Yeah.
And now we've got the Steelers pick. The Steelers, they're obviously missing a QB, and I mean, I just think you just take the best QB on the board. We've had Shadur Sanders fall
Wow.
this far, and I don't see them doing anything else. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like they're going to trade for anyone, and you need a quarterback. You can't have Mason Rudolph as your starter in 2025. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take
Or
Shadur
Aaron
here.
Rodgers. Yeah, I think we might be the lowest Shadur spot of all time right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not going to the Jets, he might just not go to anyone else, honestly, and that's just
I just don't
same thing
think
with
he
T
will.
Mac.
Maybe the Saints. That's the only place
Yeah.
I could think of. I think this is another one of the most obvious picks in the draft to a lot of people. Colson Loveland, Michigan guy. I don't think um, Jim Harbaugh passes on his former player. And this guy's almost like a Dalton Kincaid type, just a big slot receiver that is a really reliable pass catcher. I think he put up like 600 yards in a putrid pass offense in college football. It's only like, 12 games. So I think that was a fantastic season for Colson Loveland, even though he didn't get as much national spotlight just because of how terrible that offense was. Alex Orji started like 3 games and had 100 passing yards. So, yeah, I think he had a decent season for himself. Yeah, and I think Jim Harbaugh's not passing on this guy.
I like that. And with the Packers upcoming, they've had a pretty quiet free agency. They've really signed two big deals. Other than that, to Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs. But other than that, they haven't really done much. And I think they could definitely go edge here. I like the pick of Lucas Van Ness a little while ago, but it doesn't look like he's really been incredibly productive so far in his
Yeah.
career. I still think he has potential, but he hasn't been the guy that they wanted him to be. And so I think you could definitely go edge here with Mike Green still on the board. He's a guy that a lot of people are high on. And I don't see them going another way with this. I like Mike Green here.
Okay. Yeah, this was my Omarion Hampton spot until they traded for or they acquired Jordan Mason, which
Hmm.
really made me sad because I'd love to see Omarion Hampton go in the first round. If we could get a little risky in a future mock draft, I really do think
Okay.
Omarion Hampton to the Bears. It's possible. It's possible. I'm telling you, the guy's 6'2", 220 with that burst and with that power. I think he's fantastic. I think
He's
he
great to
is
watch.
in terms of player for player, not like mock draft positioning. I think he's a
Hmm.
top 15 to 20 player in this draft. I think he's that good.
That's a
So
take.
yeah. Vikings. I think defensive line is the need here. I'm gonna
Hmm.
go with another guy with some slight attitude problems and some technique problems that I see on film that I think that they can be coached out. But Ole Miss's Walter Nolan is the pick for me
Okay.
here.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Walter Nolan after he dished us over at A&M, but
Yeah.
still all
Can't
love.
blame him, man.
You can. Jimbo's a clown.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the Texans, and I think they were hoping for one of the big guys to fall to them, someone like Mimbu, especially since he can play guard as well. They have, if I'm not mistaken, they did sign some O linemen in free agency, did they not?
Uh,
Uh,
not
yeah, they
they
signed
they
Lakin
got
Tomlinson,
they were
but not really.
signing. Yeah, they were not signing top level guys. I think the pick is
Yeah,
pretty clear to me here, but we'll see with what you go with.
yeah. I mean, I think we just have to go with Josh Simmons. I mean, he's still on the
Oh,
board. He's really. Who are you
yeah,
thinking?
yeah. No, go
Oh,
ahead. I mean, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I mean, I think he's the top guy on the board. You could argue, where is he? You could argue Josh Connerly as well, but I like Josh Simmons as a better pick. But who are you thinking?
I was thinking Matthew Golden. I think you bring him back to Houston, especially because I mean, bro, Tank. They're saying Tank might come back halfway through the 2026 season, not this season. Halfway through the 2026 season, and Stephon Diggs. I don't know what's happening with that, but yeah, I would have had Matthew Golden here. But yeah, I think Josh Simmons is a solid pick, especially with the way that they're gutting their offensive line. I think that's definitely a solid pick. So yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I just think this is such a deep receiver class, and it's not necessarily a deep O line class. I think it's just more of a priority to get him. I like guys like Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, and even Restrepo out of these three players, and I think you can get them in the second or third or even fourth
Jalen
round. And
Noel.
I really love Jalen Noel, and
Jalen Noel
I
is going to
think
be a Hall of Famer one
he's a
day.
quality player. He's a guy that could be a first round. He could give you first round production, and you can get him maybe even in the fourth round. So I just think it's better to prioritize O line up front and then get a deeper receiver.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. So this is a tough spot for me. This has been my Josh Simmons pick in like every mock draft I've done. Hmm. Linebacker, tackle, tight end. We're not going tight end this high. Cornerback, we're
And why not
almost.
reach for Harold Fannin?
Hey, he changed the offense. Hey, Harold Fan is a goat.
I love
Um,
it.
could you go to tackle for me?
Got you. I think we've got Josh Connerly still on the board.
Josh Connerly is on the board. I think that could be the pick, possibly. Corner, I don't have anyone I love here. I wish
You don't
Shalom
like
Rebel
Maxwell
would.
Harrison? I've seen a lot of people shoot him into their
Yeah,
top
maybe
32.
because of the speed. You know what?
Yeah.
I think that's a solid pick, possibly. I will go with Maxwell Harrison. I
Okay.
think Harrison, yeah, I think that's a solid pick. He's got the speed. He played good football in the SEC, which that's not something you can complain about whatsoever. Put out good tape in that conference. It's not a bad pick. Oh, do they not
Taking a
agree with
minute to
my
draft
pick?
him.
I don't think they want to draft him, man. Okay. Well, we'll see if Maxwell Harrison goes uh on the board. But if it does not, we can just continue without picking the players. But yeah, I think Maxwell Harrison, you put out good tape in the SEC with some of the best speed in the draft. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And another guy I like at this spot, I mean, he's not going to, I don't think he will go in the first round because of his injury, but Siobhan Ravel Jr., man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got put onto him recently, and his tape
By
is just
who?
really nice to watch. He's an explosive player. I
By
just
who?
love the way he plays. He's a great guy.
I was wondering who put you on, bro.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, okay. Yeah. He's a game changer, and that injury really sucks for him. But yeah, I think he can be a special player.
That'd
Yeah.
be
All
my
right.
bad. Well,
You can if you refresh, it's gonna restart the draft. So you can just
yeah.
continue.
Oh well, yeah. We've got the Ravens coming up next, and this is a spot where I like Mike Green often, but you see, he's not going to fall here all the time, and so this is a spot. I mean, I've seen some people take Xavier Watts. I don't know if I'd reach that far for him, but this is a little bit of a tough one because we've kind of got everyone that they like off the board already, and
There's another
without
safety
the
there.
list, I'm struggling. I can't remember.
There's another
Oh,
Nick.
there is
Nick.
another safety there. I forgot. We've got
Yeah,
Nick
yeah,
and Rory. That's the guy I'll take there.
yeah. Okay. Um, I'm struggling to remember who's on the board
That's
here
what I'm saying.
for the Lions.
We've got Matthew Golden for sure. We've
Matthew
got
Golden is on the board here.
we have Demetrius Knight. He's not bad.
Demetrius Knight or Donovan. I can't say his last name, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Boston
Donovan
College.
is there with the Aiden Hutchinson injury. They just also their line is a little bit old at some points. Like Zadarius Smith is solid, but you're not looking at him to be like a perennial, like a great
Hmm.
starter at this point
Yeah.
in his career. So I think I will take Donovan at this spot.
Next up, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the Commanders are going to take a weapon here for Jaden Daniels. He was kind of, even though I'm not the biggest Jaden Daniels fan, he was putting in a lot of work with very little weapons last year. And so I think you just go best offensive player here, and I'm going to go with Luther Bird in the third.
Oh, Marion, I'm sorry, man. I really think the Commanders' run game is all blocking. I think both of the players they have there just aren't very good. And so I think if you get an Omarion Hampton type player in there, it changes the game for them. But
See, I understand that, but I'm not the biggest Brian Robinson fan. But he's a passable, running back, and I think
exactly,
that
why
Luther Bird
why do
is a
we
guy
want
that
to
you
be
can't pass the
passable?
ball,
It's
huh?
time.
Yeah, but I mean, who do they have in the receiver room besides for Terry?
Debo
I
Samuel.
mean,
It's a
really?
body. It's a body,
All
bro.
right, all right.
It's a body. But yeah,
Debo is
I
Brian
understand.
Robinson level at this point in his career.
Huh?
Debo is Brian Robinson level at this point of his career.
Yeah, but I think the run game is. I just think the run game is more important for them to focus on at this point
All right.
because they play off of the run. But yeah, for the Bills here, I think you could definitely make a case. Oh my goodness! Wow, Michael Williams, easy.
He's
What?
still on the board.
Yeah,
That's I didn't even realize.
yeah,
And I mean, for the Chiefs, you like O line here with the loss of Joe Tooney, but I mean, I guess we have to go Josh Connolly. There's not
yeah.
really
The
much else
tackle,
here
the
for
tackle
them.
situation is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, having Joe Tooney play tackle in the Super Bowl and just seeing how that worked out, it was they need someone.
Yeah. Okay. And last but not least, Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles.
Where's my
With the loss. All right, you can get your showboating off. With the
All right.
loss of Milton Williams going to the Patriots for record money, you could think of Derek Carmen here. Even Matthew Golden has not been selected. I mean, that would just be fun to add another offensive weapon. Can you show me the edges here?
I got you. I don't think there's anyone that I'd take in the first round left,
Yeah,
but
I don't
let me
think so
see. Oh,
either.
Nick Score. I forgot about Nick Scoring.
Nick
I'm
Scoring
a
is a
big Nick Scoring guy.
possibility, but I think Derek Carmen is more of a first round guy. This is a tough decision. Matthew Golden.
You're not
That'll
even
be
gonna mention
I
Ibuka.
I think yeah, that'll be he's a slot guy. I mean, yeah. Hmm. I think you gotta go Derek Carmen here though.
Okay.
Just to plug a hole, plug a loss.
I mean, I personally like both Jordan Davis and Moro Jomo. I don't think it's a huge need,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I think it's just to get more guys in the rotation. I don't think there's
yeah.
anything wrong with it. So we can look at our mock draft now. It is completed. Some things I would change. I could go first. I'd have Cam Ward going number one. So that shifts things around a little bit. So that yeah. But I'd have like Shadur going two, and then you move Abdul Carter down to four. And then it kind of fits itself around like that. I definitely have Michael Williams going before JPJ and Mike Green, just due to
Mhm.
the attitude. And then Mike Green has like legitimately been taken off of some teams' draft boards due to the previous allegations. So
Yeah.
he could slip a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I definitely don't hate this draft. You could go next year, Amar. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think when I made that James Pierce Jr. trade, I completely forgot Michael Williams was still on the board. I for sure would have him there as well. And I want to make it clear, I'm a huge Shadur fan. I think Shadur is going to succeed in the league. A ton of people are hating on him, but I do think that he's going to, if he does go in the top two or wherever he goes, I think he's going to ball.
Goff. Jared
I think
Goff.
he's the best. What?
Jared Goff.
He's just not Jared Goff, but all right. He just
Nothing wrong
creates.
with being there's
Jared Goff
nothing
isn't creating anything.
there's nothing wrong with being Jared Goff.
But they don't. He creates. He's a creator. He's a
Jared,
scrambler.
did you
Jared
watch
Goff's a pocket passer.
Jared Goff
I've seen
created
Jared
in
Goff in college, but I just don't care.
Jared
He's
Goff
just
created
different.
in college, man.
He's just different. You think he
Jared Goff
created at the
has
same
talent
level as Shadur?
created.
Honestly,
What'd you say?
do you think he was as big of a scrambler as Shadur was in college?
He was better.
A better overall player, but a better as a scrambler.
No, he's not better as a scrambler.
All right,
But
but
Shadur's offensive line is terrible. So that's definitely a positive
mhm.
for Shadur if he goes, yeah.
but yeah, I think we could have T Mac going the four. I think as much as I don't personally care about the arm length thing, I think some teams will, especially with his being like an inch and a half shorter than you'd like. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with this mock draft. I could also have Shadur going at 7 to the Jets instead of Mimbu, but I think this is a pretty solid mock draft. I don't really have any complaints. Also, the Eagles pick, I likely would have taken a receiver
Mm.
uh, or what's his name, Nick Score in there. I think D tackle is less of an issue, honestly, than edge. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the draft.
Yeah, but shout out to Jovo though. It's a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think yeah. Another thing I would change, I guess, is Matthew Golden definitely going in the first round. Recently, in like all of my mock drafts, Emeka Ibuka's a safe prospect. I mean, he's a surefire guy, but he has been falling out of my first rounds recently. But definitely, yeah, I would have Matthew Golden in that spot to the Texans or maybe the Packers, with all the trouble that's going on with the Packers wide receiver room. And yeah, Marion Hampton to the Commanders, please. I'm begging. I'm tired of Austin Eckler's 10 rushes, 11 yards, and 6 catches for 87. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm tired of seeing it. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Honestly, I'm just excited. I think the mock draft has shifted around a lot this past month from all these crazy moves. I've liked a lot of the trades. It's been one of the more interesting free agencies in recent history, and
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just excited to see what goes on. I'm excited for football to come back.
Hey, bear down, man. That's all I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? I've been here since the day they drafted Justin Fields as a secondary fan of this team, and I'm still. Well, I don't know what you're side eyeing me for. I'm still happy to be here. I'm still happy to be bear down. So Bears fans, we're here.
Hey, I've been here since Caleb.
All right, that'll do it for our first combined mock draft. Maybe we'll have individual ones in the future and another combined one in the future as well. You guys subscribe, hit that like button, and go check us out on all platforms. Link in bio, and we'll see you guys in the next one.